Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear. We're going to do a review of the Tippmann A5. So this is a newer version of the A5. Has a different selector switch on the side of it, or it has a selector switch. The old version of the A5s didn't even have that on them. They just had a safety on them. And then it's got all push pin. It's the same gun rather than just the frame. It's a little bit different. So we're going to go through it and look at it so you guys can get an updated version of the newest A5 that's out there. Now what you're going to get in the box, obviously you're going to get your manual, and it comes in a bunch of different languages. So if you read other languages, great. If you don't, English is at the front. We don't need that part. We got our gun with the Cyclone Feed. The A5 still has the Cyclone Feed on it. Our low profile hopper, which is not necessarily new to the A5s, but they didn't always come with this. They used to come with a larger, kind of bulky hopper that stood up a lot higher. So that's different, probably than the old video. I don't know. Standard barrel, and then your parts kit right here. So in your parts kit, kind of just flopped right over. You're gonna get the standard fare. You're gonna get barrel sleeve, a pull-through squeegee, some Allen keys. It looks like a couple O-rings inside there, and actually looks like a ring mount, which is different. I've never seen this before. It's like a sling mount ring, so that you can put this into one of these screws. You replace the screw right there, and you can have a sling mount attachment. So it's something to hang your gun off of. That's pretty cool. Didn't always come with one of those. And that's it. Inside of here it looks like. Oh, and there's a little tube of oil in there too. A tube of lube inside there. All right. Kind of put that like this, so you can see the backside right there. So barrel, aluminum barrel, 8.5 inch ported aluminum barrel, porting all at the front. It's a very generic barrel, nothing fancy, nothing to write home about. It's going to get you out on the field and get you playing, but there are better versions to the barrel. But for people just starting out, use the stock barrel for a while and get a feel for your gun before you start changing things, so you understand the differences between higher end stuff and just basic off the shelf stuff. There's that 8.5 inch barrel. Your loader right here, like I said, it is a low profile loader, snap top. These are compatible with universal halo speed feeds. You can get them to fit on there. This lip is very, very low, so make sure that you tighten it on pretty well, because if you just kind of easily put it on there, or just kind of, I'm gonna say half-ass it, put it on there, they pop off. So make sure that the locking collar, or the collar that goes around your speed feed, that you tighten it down well to keep that thing from popping off of there. And it still snaps in the same way. You drop it down and rotate it to snap it inside there. It's 200 round too. Is that right? Yeah, 200 round loader. So they make little adapters for these. You can get replacement pieces for this, where if you don't want the big hopper sticking out on the top like this sits, you can get little tiny ones that fit on here that only hold like 40, 50 balls. So there's a lot of options on there for different looks, different setups. Cocking mechanism is still on the side, so you just pull that piece back before you get gassed up, before you're ready to go, and then you're ready to shoot. The newest feature probably for the gun, since we've got the gun cocked back, is the selector switch on the side. A5's never had that before, or they haven't had that in a long time, I should say. Now you've got a little selector that goes from safety to fire. So when you're down in the S position, the safety position, obviously the gun's not going to shoot. Rotate up to the fire position and pull the trigger and the gun shoots. So it's more realistic. Rather than having just a slide pin on the side, you've got more of a thumb activated system that is just cooler to look at and more fun to use, to put it simply. And it just looks better. It looks better than they did before. More of a realistic feel. Same foregrip setup, line setup at the bottom. The ASA's all the same. You've got the ring mount on the back right here that you can use. So I guess that ring mount that we looked at earlier, if you've got one on the back here, you probably wouldn't replace the one on the back. You would replace the one on the front, one of these screws, so you could have a looping 2-point harness on there. That makes more sense. Still has all the same push pin construction though. So if we want to take the gun apart, we can just knock the push pins out, push them out by hand. At the beginning, the first time you probably take your pins out, it's going to be a little hard to push them out just because they're new and they haven't worn at all. So pushing them out by hand doesn't always work. Sometimes you kind of have to tap them with a little punch or something, a little screwdriver, just to knock them out the first time. But taking the frame off easy. Taking the back plate off is easy. All these pieces, getting them off to do just basic maintenance is very, very easy. What else we got? Cyclone Feed is pretty much the same. Hasn't really changed. They've gone through a couple versions of the ratchet system inside there. They had one that never broke, and then they switched to one that was probably cheaper for them to make, and it had some issues. And then they went back to the ones that never broke. So right now they're running, the current ones are the old style, I believe, that were super durable and never had any problems. So once you shoot thousands and thousands and thousands of shots through these, the ratchet system will wear down. You can replace it with metal ones that have a longer lifespan. But for a typical player, they should last a long, long time. It does still have the manual assist, so if for some reason your Cyclone Feed goes bad or the hose blows off, which I've never seen happen, but I guess it's possible, you can still cycle manually in the middle of a game and still shoot your gun and not have to rely on the CO2. They did change the valve design a little bit with the 2 holes on the side rather than having a T, 1 hole with a T banjo fitting. Now they've got 2 holes so that if you're running a Cyclone Feed on here, you can run 1 hose to the back off of 1 separate hole, and 1 hose just stays proprietarily for the Cyclone Feed at the front. So you're not having to run both devices off of 1 hose, which can cause some air starving issues and cause them not to function properly. So that's new on there. And then, that's about it. It's the same tried and true Tippmann design for A5s that they've always been using, where basically you can just beat the crap out of these guns, throw them off a truck, drop them out of a tree, pick them up, and they still work. That's why they're great for fields to use as rental guns, because they just keep on working and you really don't have to do that much to them. So if you're starting out and you want a gun that you will most likely have no issues with, I don't want to say never, because there's always exceptions to that. But for the most part, if you want a gun that you can just beat the crap out of and not have an issue with, check out the guns from Tippmann, especially the A5. It's a great gun. As with all Tippmann guns, they come with a 2-year warranty on them right there. So that's a little ease of mind if you pick up a new gun like that. Definitely check them out. The whole Tippmann line. This A5 is awesome. Available through the website in 3 different versions. There's the standard version, the response trigger version, and the E-frame version. So if you're into shooting a million balls a second, look at the other ones. But check them out anyway. Order your A5s through ansgear.com.